There we
go. Good morning from snowy Switzerland today.
Good morning from icy Dublin. Thank you, Nadine.
It was a wonderful time, like oasis, to meet you here, talk about prosperity. Around me, there's so much going on, and then there is just this thing, always when I want, is like, where is my prosperity? And then I can go there because I've practiced this now for so long. I'm reading this, I'm living this, I'm loving this.
Mm-hmm. So true. Yeah.
Thank you for reading this with me every Friday.
Thank you. It's been a lovely journey because, you know, when we get to December, the energies are all over the place and we need to realize, take a step back, just breathe. So really do take that time for yourself to understand what you're going through and look back on the year and just look at, wow, look at what I've achieved, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to kick off. I'm from page 134, the new paragraph that's there. So, but let us remember that thought is both causative and creative. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by him. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. In these three verses, you have the foundation and principle in all spiritual practice. A word is a vehicle or pattern of thought. You do not put power and prosperity into your word, you take it out. St. John is saying that God created all things through the power of the word, and that we, reenacting the divine nature, have the same power in us. If we train ourselves to dwell upon the abundance of the unconditional power that makes things out of itself, and if we learn to see abundance everywhere and in everything, we shall build opulent and prosperous conditions in our life. And that's it. We've got to remember when we are, you know, wrapped up in the whole busyness of December, the busyness of the festive season, to stop and really reevaluate our thinking. And going into the new year, we really have to evaluate that thinking. So the secret of attracting what we want from the universe is in our ability to focus our minds upon an idea until it forms in us a consciousness of itself. I love that.
Yes.
Not many people can do this, however, and it takes work and it takes commitment and it takes discipline. And this is where we're going to be coming back to that.
I think, exactly. And I think it takes especially, you know, this consciousness to take the time to do it, to just be, to not do. Because especially as you're saying, this busy time, like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do that and I want to organize it. And I found myself constantly running around in the last 2 weeks. And then the big thing is like, where do I take the time to be what I want to be? And of course, then integrating it. So always when I was running around, it's like, oh, this is so prosperous. Oh, no, it's not. I have to do this, I have to do that. Okay. When I do it, to fill in this thing with consciousness and say, okay, I do this for the sake of my prosperity, and I'm so happy and grateful for the outcome of whatever errands I'm running right now. So sometimes it takes seconds, but it really takes this moment to stop and channel the thoughts onto the waves of prosperity and to come from that kind of energy, thought vibes, and then go about the daily hustle.
So, where was I? So not many people can do this, however, because not many people can concentrate on a mental image in length of time, fluctuating between the higher and the lower potentials. They are constantly diverted by intrusions. And that we've got to understand. We've got to look out for those intrusions, right? I love that. Fantasies and the flow of the mind. And Jesus said, if thine eye be single, if thy mind is one-pointed, the whole body is full of light. If our desire...
I think one of the biggest disturbances is this thing that just constantly beeps, or whenever we have this moment of time, isn't it, that we just go automatically, oh, do I have, just even though you don't expect a message. And so I am literally training myself to not any more hours, but kind of half days, not look at my phone. And then when I do it, so really twice happens that, oh, my son called. It's like, no, exactly when I'm putting it away. But then I figured out how I can just hear his calls and not the whole rest. So it's a process, and it's a process of letting go, honestly, for me at least. But then it's so worth it. So.
Yeah. So true. So where was I? So if our desire is to integrate and synchronize the conscious and subconscious phases of mind, this one-pointedness is an absolute necessity. The picture of our desire must be so clear, so dynamic, penetrating, and powerful. It must reach clear down to the point of acceptance, action, and creation. We must press our claim with such convincing tone that the subconscious mind will go to work at once to bring it into being. I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah. And the elephant in the room here is focus, and your ability to focus on what you want. And I think that in the more we get distracted by more options, more opportunities, more things to do, more things to read, more things to watch, as I said, cell phone beeping all around from all kinds of channels. So actually we lose our ability to just focus, which was easier in the time of, let's say, our parents, great parents, where there were not so many distractions.
Possibly.
So while we think we advance by having all those options, by having all those devices, it might be actually kind of a step back to focus on what's really important and to take the time, because we're so inundated by all those options and channels and sources of information that you have very little time, usually, I would say, the average person in our reach, to actually receive the information that comes from the field, that comes for you directly, because that's your purpose. So it's really, I would say that this is the biggest thing. And I titled this today, as we started off with, the thought is both causative and creative, to really take that time and give yourself the gift of time to create with your thought.
So true. So I'd really love to repeat this last paragraph, because I think it's so important that we get this. So if our desire is to integrate and synchronize this conscious and subconscious phases of mind, this one-pointedness is an absolute necessity. So keep that vision, keep your intention at the top of your mind all day long. The picture of our desire must be clear, so dynamic, penetrating, and powerful, and it must reach clear down to the point of acceptance, action, and creation. We must press our claim with such convincing tones that the subconscious mind will go to work at once to bring it into being.
Yes. And what I also hear and read from this is that to integrate belief that it is possible, that it is true. Because when the acceptance, I guess that's the key, because when we work with affirmations, I'm rich. So you can have it kind of on the intellectual level, I'm rich, but then as long as you don't believe it and integrate it and accept the fact, even though or regardless of what's on your bank account, then nothing will change. So the thing is to really accept the thought, claim the thought as it's written here, and then bring it into your being. That's so beautiful.
Stunning. Well, we'll leave it there, Nadine. I think that's a lovely thing to be, processing over the next couple of days. Think about it and really do integrate that into your thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so Jackie goes to visit Santa Claus in Sweden.
Well, let's see if flights are going to go.
Exactly. Say hello to the reindeers there.
All right,
Yes.
Nadine. Thank you.
Thank you for the gift of your presence here and everything.
Thank you.
Good. See you around next time.
Bye.